So, you can hear my voice, right? Yes, because I think there is always a bit of problem with Google Meet, my Google Meet. Okay, maybe I don't know what happened. So just let me know if you cannot hear my voice. Okay, I'll be sharing the screen.
Okay, ma'am.
So in the last class, let me just go through what we have done in the last class. Okay, we have just started with cyber crime introduction, how how it has become a growing threat or concern to the society. So you all know, right? It's not that difficult knowing that how cyber crime is an issue to us all, right? So it becomes a growing threat to the society that is caused by criminals and irresponsible individuals who are taking these advantages of these widespread of computer networks or internet in our society, because internet has become a part of our day-to-day life, and it has become a kind of a basic needs for us, right? Because without internet, it's like food, water, air, right? Internet is another elements of our basic needs, right? So it also poses a major challenge to the ethical use of information technology. So information technologies is very pervasive in our life. So these cybercrime poses some massive challenge to the how to use or ethical use of this information technology. Okay, and then we have done computer crime. What are the computer crime that are involved? It includes the unauthorized use, the access, modification of hardware, software, data, or network resources, and also the unauthorized release of information, unauthorized copying of software, and also includes denying an end users to his or her own hardware, software, data, or network resources, using or conspiring to use computer or network resources to illegally obtain information or tangible property. All these things amount to computer crime. So if you are being denied an access to your own account, maybe your data, maybe your financial account, everything relating to your own data, or you are locked out of your own system, it is also a computer crime. Okay, so unauthorized use, unauthorized access, unauthorized release of your information, unauthorized all these things will amount to computer crime. Just one second. And then just one second. Yeah, and the next thing which we have done in the last class is cyber crime. So cyber crime includes any criminal act that deals with computers and networks. So it also includes committing traditional crimes through the internet. Okay, the traditional crimes, the crimes that you maybe read in the newspaper, so see in the television news, all these things are traditional crimes. If it's conducted through the internet, that is cyber crime. Okay, just one second. So, just one second. So it includes any traditional crimes that is conducted through the internet. An example is given as hate crime, telemarketing, internet fraud, identity theft, credit card, account thefts. Okay, so you may be a victim of these credit card account thefts also. So these all amount to cyber crime. Or you may have heard of people experiencing a different kind of fraud, right? Internet fraud, or you may be lured into uh, giving out your financial credit card or debit card number, and the criminals are using your credit card, debit card for maybe purchase of an items without you knowing, or uh, I have also given you example of ATM fraud, right? That is also a cyber crime or computer crime. Okay. And cybercrime is a crime where there is a motive on the part of the criminals to intentionally harm. There is an intention to harm the victim. Okay, the reputation of the victim, or to cause physical harm or mental harm, or to cause some kind of loss to the victim directly or indirectly using a modern telecommunication network, like maybe through the internet, through chat rooms, maybe through emails, or through mobile phones. Example which I've given you is you may have received from unknown email address saying that you have won this much and this much amount of money. So to claim this type of money that you want, you have to give your accounts, etc. Right? So I think you must have come across this email or SMS on your mobile phone. So all these things are not authentic, and that's a cyber crime. So cyber crime is an offenses where these offenses are committed against maybe individuals, or it may be committed against a group of individuals with a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation of the victim, okay, or to cause some kind of physical harm, mental harm, or to cause loss to the victim, maybe directly or maybe indirectly using these information or telecommunication network. Okay, and cybercrime also threatens nation security and the financial health. So issues that surround issues of these cybercrime, they usually become a very high profile crime, right? So there are also problems of privacy. Privacy problems are also there when confidential information is being disclosed or in being intercepted, right? So like I've given you example in the last semester about the Amazon, that the confidential information of the consumer are being intercepted, right, are being acquired by the hackers. So all the amount that is supposed to be deposited in the account of the consumer are gone. All the amount have gone to the fraud, the criminals. So all these things amount to cybercrime. And there is cyber warfare also. So if there is any cross-border crime, any activity that crosses the international borders that involves the interests of at least one nation state is referred to as cyber warfare. Okay, so uh, this is cybercrime, and we have also discussed the difference between cybercrime and computer crime and cybercrime. Computer crime can involve any criminal activities that are traditional in nature, like theft, fraud, forgery. All of these are being subjected everywhere to criminal sanctions. Okay, and there is also a difference between annoying behavior and also a criminal behavior under the law. Okay, and let's look at the uh, common types of computer crimes. Like there is forgery, so there is fraud as well. Fraud by system manipulation intentionally, modification to data or programs or database, and accessing computers without authorization. And also, since we have already discussed difference between cybercrime and computer crime, there is also a difference between cybercrime and computer crime. One basic difference between the computer crime and cyber crime is that computer crime, it happens in physical space, maybe with or without the network. Okay, network doesn't mean necessarily internet. Okay, there can be internet network between two computers only, or maybe with millions of computers. Okay, so computer crime happens in physical space with or without the network. Cyber crime can take place in a virtual space. The term itself is the cyber. So it takes place. This type of crime takes place in a virtual space through digital environment. Okay, and we have also discussed the difference between the cyber crime and conventional crime. So the point of differences are the evidence of the offenses. Since we all know what is traditional crime, the crime that is committed in the physical world. Okay, suppose you are in a crime scene. You must have seen. You will be, maybe you will see the criminals. Uh, the criminals may leave behind some traces. Okay, like maybe a DNA, maybe some kind of blood samples, or personal belongings. So evidence of the there is traditional criminals usually leave traces of a crime, maybe their fingerprints or other physical evidences. But cyber criminals, they mostly use internet. Okay, so they rely on the internet where they commit these cyber crimes, and they leave very little evidence about the cyber crime. So it's very difficult for forensic investigators to gather evidences that could lead to this conviction of cyber criminals. Okay, because these cyber criminals can freely change their identities. So you can just for let's take an example. You can just change your identity and post some, let's say, post or defamatory comments, right? So it's very difficult for the investigators to find out your identity, your location, etc., right? So forensic investigators usually experience great difficulty in gathering evidences that will lead to conviction of these cyber criminals, because they can change their identities, and usually they use this pseudonyms for their identification. So it's very difficult for traditional, but it is very difficult for traditional criminals to fake their gender, maybe race or age or identity. Okay, so evidence of the offense is one point of difference. The second is the length of investigation, since cybercrime involves the perpetrators, the criminals, using false names, right? False names, false identity, and they work from very remote location. So it usually takes a very long time period to identify the real cyber criminals and to catch them, to apprehend them. Okay, but in most cases, the cyber criminals like hackers, they escape from arrest, and mostly these hackers are also very expert. Okay, so cyber criminals, they escape from arrest because investigators also cannot locate them. But traditional crimes, it takes shorter time period to investigate, because the criminals usually leave evidence that can be used to spot them, right? Like I've already said, traditional criminals can leave evidence such as the DNA, the fingerprints, maybe the videos that are captured on the CCTV, or personal belongings such as iCards, and these all these things make it very easy for investigators to identify and capture the culprit. Okay, and the third is constitutional law provisions. Here, the Indian Constitution has given some provisions. Article under Article 20 section Article 20 3. So it is said that no person accused of any offences shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Okay, so these can be used for the benefit. Cyber criminals can rely on these constitutional law provisions to protect themselves against conviction. Okay, so these constitutional law provisions implies that in situation cyber criminals are being apprehended, like when they are being caught, the trial process of these cyber criminals may take long. Okay, unless the investigators themselves gather some kind of evidence about the crime. So it becomes these law provisions kind of work for the benefit of the cyber criminals. The next is, one second. Second, the next is use of force. So in most of traditional crime, there is a use of force. In case of, let's say, murder, they use force to kill the victim, right? And then in case of rape, in case of arson, all these things involves use of excessive force that results in physical injury or trauma on the victims. But cyber crimes do not require any use of force, because the criminals will merely use the identities of the victims to steal from them. Okay, so cyber criminals may use phishing to obtain personal information, just a link, false link, right, to obtain credit card numbers from the victim, or maybe use encrypted emails to spread or to coordinate violence remotely. Next is scale of attacks. So cyber attacks can be conducted on a scale not possible in the physical world, right? Like I've already given you example of a bank. So a bank can be robbed, maybe maximum, let's say, uh, uh, a group of robbers can rob one or two banks in a day. But if with just a simple code or malware that is spread out to the security system of the financial institute, can attack hundreds or thousands of websites of banks, or they can rob in just minutes, right? So the scale of attack and the reach of attack is very high in case of cyber crime. Okay, and the speed of attack is also at the machine speed. Like I said, the simple code, a simple virus, a simple software or malware can be uploaded within a second, and if it is uploaded to the system of these financial security system, then it will attack the financial system within a second. Okay, and the next point of difference between cybercrime and conventional crime is that sorry, perception and media effect. So the perception and the media, the public and media perception of cybercrime is different from a conventional crime. Okay, so when financial institutions have been hacked, okay, suppose the financial institution is hacked, the media will blame the organization rather than the criminals, right? It happens like most of the writers will also write about how the security system is lacking. But just look at the physical bank robbers. When bank robbing happen, the media will write about, will convict, will talk about the robbers, right? Not blame the banks. So all these things are the difference between sorry, cyber crime and cyber conventional crime. And let's look at the next topic, that is different kinds of cyber crime. So there are many types of cyber crime, and we will just look at the most common one. Okay, so the first is cyber defamation. So defamation, you must have heard. What do you mean by defamation? Defamation is it means action of damaging the good reputation of someone, right? If someone writes about you, maybe on a social network, maybe on Facebook or maybe on WhatsApp, and spread out the messages to thousands, maybe many people, and they write negative things about you, or publish something about you which is not true, that is defamation, right? So defamation is it is the action of damaging the good reputation of someone. Okay, it is also a wrongful and intentional. It is an intentional publication of something, maybe in written form or in oral form, to harm the reputation of someone. Okay, if someone writes about you which is not true, publish some article or maybe some article or news item about you which is not true, that is defamation. Okay, so what is cyber defamation? Cyber defamation can be of two types. One is written defamation, that is known as libel, and the second is a verbal defamation, that is slander. Okay, so defamatory when a potential defamatory statement is made online or maybe through social media that involves the written or the posted word, that is known as a libel. Okay, defamatory comment is the defamatory comment can be found online in some online location, like maybe a comment on the letter, or maybe a letter to the editor, or maybe a local newspaper, or public comments on the media website. You must have seen, right? And blogs and comments to blog posting, social media, chat rooms, etc. Okay, so cyber defamation is there are two. Sorry, there are two types of cyber defamation. One is slander, and the second is libel. Slander means there is an oral or verbal defamation or publication of false or news or words about someone, that the intention is to hurt the reputation of someone. Okay, so there is an intention to harm someone's reputation. There is an intention. Okay, wrongful and intentional publication, all these things amount to defamation. Okay, and every individual has their right to protect their reputation also. Okay, so let's look at the different types of slander and libel. Okay, so we've already said that defamation consists of both these: slander, that is mostly by speaking; libel is mostly by writing. So slander involves the oral publication. Just one second. So slander involves the oral publication of a defamatory remark. Okay, slander is an oral publication of these defamatory remark that is heard by another. Okay, and then the intention is to injure the subject's reputation or character. Okay, so slander can can occur through the use of a hand gesture or through verbal communication that is not recorded. Okay, and then libel, on the other hand, is written publication of a defamatory remark that has the tendency to injure another's reputation or character. Okay, so libel can also happen on publication on radio. Okay, publication on radio, maybe through audio or video. Okay, uh, so these two are cyber defamation. Okay, so we use social media. So social media is where you can listen to audio, you can watch video, and you can post anything, right? So nowadays uh, there is also a lot of defamatory remarks or comments which you can read. Okay, so in olden days, slander was mostly popular and possible, right? It was the most popular form of defamatory slander, because people shouting at you and saying something which is not true about you, that is slander, because there is an oral publication of defamatory, or someone included in their speech about you which is not true, that is slander. Okay, defamatory remarks. But after the popularity of the printing press, or with the increase in the use of internet, there is an increase in libel. Okay, and with the information technology, as also the internet, libel has become much more common and easier. Okay, so in simple words, uh, there is an increase in cyber defamation. So in simple word, it means that defamation by anything which can be read, you can read in the social media, right? Which can be read, which can be seen, or which can be heard with the help of computers or technology, is cyber defamation. Okay, and since this internet has been described as having some or all of the characteristics of the newspaper, right? And also TV, also a magazine, also a telephone system, publishing house. So there are also certain differences between online and offline attempt of defamation. But as you can see, online defamation is more vigorous and effective, right? Because one line, one sentence of a defamatory remark online has much more effect than an offline defamatory remark made in the, let's say, newspaper, right? So online defamation is more effective and vigorous. So cyber defamation includes slander and libel. Slander is an oral publication of defamatory remark, and libel, you can give many examples. Okay, that will be a part of your assignment again, because in the last semester also I've given you a case study. So I'm just going through the concept, and you have to find on your own the examples and write it as your assignment again. Okay, and there is a quantitative and qualitative effect of the cyber defamation. So quantitatively speaking, a comment that is defaming a person, okay, a comment that is defaming a person, it can be sent to a large number of person through email, or by a click of the mouse, or with just a click of a button, right? It is much easier to publish it on a, let's say, a discussion board that is visited by thousands of persons every day. So if you visit a web page, or maybe a social media profile, you see comments, right? There are many people commenting good comments, negative comments. So the reach is very high in case of cyber defamation. So if talking about the number game, it is still more convenient to make available the defamatory sentence to millions of people by just publishing it on the website. Okay, and the number of people a comment defaming a person, it might reach is gigantic. Okay, and hence it would affect the reputation of the defamed person much more than an ordinary publication. So online reach, online defamatory remark made is, it has a huge reach, effective and more vigorous, and it can affect or impact the reputation, injure the reputation of the defamed person, right? So your the victims, let's say the defamed person, life will be hell. Okay, if cyber defamation happens on online. And qualitatively, so the impact of these online comment that is defaming a person would depend upon the fact as to where it has been published. Okay, maybe putting a defaming message in specific news group would necessarily have a more effective negative impact on the reputation of the person being defamed rather putting the same on some kind of other group. Okay, so quantitatively it's very high. Qualitatively, the impact of these defamatory remarks or comment that is posted about a person would depend upon where that has been published. Okay, so if you're working in an organization, if some defamatory remarks is to be made, someone wants to make a defamatory remarks, so it may be posted on the organization group. If it's posted on the organizational group, it will have much more effect, right? The impact, negative impact would be much more what to say, much more effective rather than putting it on some other groups or some other space where your presence is very less significance. Okay, so cyber defamation consists of slander and libel. Slander is oral publication. It can be use of hand gesture or verbal communication. Libel is a written publication of defamatory remark. It includes publication in radio, audio, or video. So these two are cyber defamation. The common thing about these two, slander and libel, is that the intention is to injure the subject's reputation and character. Earlier, before information technology was advanced and before the introduction of internet, slander was the most popular form of defamation. Okay, but now with the introduction of information technology and internet, cyber defamation is much more prevalent and much more effective, and negative impact is also very huge. All right. The next is mm, here there is one case study. I'll just go through. Kalambi Charan Lenka versus State of Odisha. In these, the petitioner was continuously being stalked, and a fake account of her was later created, and obscene messages were sent to the friends by the culprit. So, a morphed naked picture was also posted on the walls of the hostel where the victim stayed. So, the court held the culprit liable for his offense. So, you must have heard of all these type of cases in the news, right? So, so you can find on your own, okay, the examples, and I will also do cases and examples later, right? Next is corporate cyber smear is also different types of cyber crime. So what is corporate cyber smear? Here, the definition is given as it is a harmful, defamatory, insulting, or offending online messages. It has been termed as corporate smear. So it is also a false rumor about the company, or false rumor about the management or the stock. So these is, since we are talking about cybercrime, so this is commonly done through the internet, maybe through website, through blogs, through forums, through emails and instant messaging, chat rooms, and also in the social networking space. Okay, and this kind of criminal activity is concerned especially in the stock market and financial sectors where knowledge about information, right? In case of if a person is dealing in financial world, information about finance or the stock market is very important, right? So these kind of corporate cyber smear is involved or is related to a stock market and also financial sectors where the knowledge and information are the key factors for the businessman. Okay, so a person that are indulging in this type of corporate cyber smear is that disgruntled employees, right? Unhappy employees, insiders, maybe ex-employees who has something against the company or the management or the stock, right? And envious ex-colleagues, imposters, competitors, creditors, or even those seeking employment or who are being denied employment, or maybe former shareholders. So where informations are very important for the stockholders or in the financial sectors where knowledge and information are the key factors, where harmful and defamatory or insulting or offending online messages about the companies, management will affect the functioning or the stocks of the company. These are all corporate cyber smear. Okay, so any, let's say, the stock of any information that's there in the market. Just one second. Uh, I cannot read the chat, okay, because my Google Meet is uh, somewhat not working. So a corporate cyber smear is that, see, in a stock market, if you're investor, if you're investing in a stock of a company, any information about the company or the economy will affect the stock of your stock purchase and sale of the company, right? So if any messages, harmful messages are being posted about the company or the management, or maybe the by maybe the economy, that will affect the stock of the company. Okay, so there are examples of where the information, false information, are being spread, and that has actually led to the fall in prices of the stock. So that is corporate cyber smear. Right? Is it okay? I don't want to. I can proceed further, but let's in the next class we'll do forgery. Okay, forgery is also another kind of cyber crime. So forgery is defined as a criminal act that includes purposeful defrauding, misleading, deception, and misrepresentation of a product, service, or item with the intention to deceive the victim. Okay, so forgery, there are different types of forgery. So it is a criminal act. Forgery, as you know it, like it's a the it is the intention to mislead, deceive, misrepresent the product, service, or item, right? And there are different types of forgery. Electronic forgery is there, financial forgery is there, commercial forgery is there, and also governmental administrative forgery. Okay, and we also study cyber stalking. Cyber stalking, as you all know, stalking, it is a crime where the attacker harasses a victim using electronic communication. Okay, and we'll also do uh, online gambling, online sale of illegal articles, cyber fraud, online investment fraud, etc. Okay, so today I'm just gonna do these two things: kind of cyber crime, cyber defamation, that includes slander and libel. Slander is an oral publication of defamatory remarks. Libel is a written publication of defamatory remarks. These two defamation, the intention is to injure the reputation of the or subjects. Okay, reputation of the subject or the character, kill the character. Okay, and you can apply these. You can find out. You can relate these concept to the examples or the cases that is given or the news report that is there in the newspaper. Okay, and there is corporate cyber smear. So any rumors, harmful or defamatory or insulting messages or offending messages about the company or the management is termed as corporate cyber smear. Okay, so the people that are involved in these corporate cyber smear are disgruntled employees, insiders, ex-employees, envious ex-colleagues, imposters, competitors, creditors, or person that are that have been denied employment. Okay, all these people are indulged in corporate cyber smear. All right, is it okay? Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'll continue with forgery, cyber stalking, online gambling, etc. Okay, different kinds of cyber crime in the next class, and I'll post. You can write your roll number. No, don't write in the chat box. I'll just provide